Hey, how's it going? So, why did you join the Canto Mando Blueprint?
Hey Sheldon. So since I watched a lot of Canto Mando videos and you helping Mike quite a lot during those times, so I thought, why? So then I guess that made me want to learn Mandarins, since for as a native Cantonese speaker, and I never really had proper schooling for Mandarin, and I know even in my own past that during my years in Chinese school. Of course, as a CBC, you only get to learn so much, so much you can cover for Cantonese. So I thought, you kind of have best of both worlds. So seeing that you convinced me, even when we had the DMs on learning, I want to learn Mando, you were very compelling when you explained the benefits of the Canto Mando blueprints and giving that a good try. So um, before, when I didn't take it, I had zero ways of talking to someone in Mandarin aside from hello and thank you and sorry. Um, Now I can at least, have conversational Mandarin. I mean, I'll probably miss a few particles here and there, but I think it's a lot better than when I didn't know about the Canto Mando blueprint. So, thank you for creating that for us Cantonese diaspora folks.
What problem were you looking to solve when joining the Canto Mando Blueprint, and why was that important to you?
Hey Sheldon. So I think the problem I had when I didn't learn Mandarin was that I was always left behind whenever it came to people interacting with one another in one language, even when, let's say, my folks do and like talk to the server in Mandarin. I would just wait for them to order for me, so because sometimes I wouldn't know how to pronounce words, and I know the character, I wouldn't know if it's the right tone or if it's the right way to say to a native Mandarin speaker. So I think having that Canto Mando blueprint there of the map, the blue little map for me to refer to is kind of it would kind of help me along the way when it came to um, at least trying to articulate conversational Mandarin. So I think that was something that was very handy for me compared to doing just the traditional method of learning Mandarin for teaching someone who has zero background in Chinese. So for someone who's a Cantonese diaspora to use this kind of tool is much more sufficient. I think that's something that kind of I would still be learning as I go, but it's a really handy tool to use.
Was there ever any kind of like specific situation or moment where you were like, I wish I could speak Mandarin, that kind of like ignited your desire to say, like, I want to do something about this?
Hey Sheldon, so I remember this one time when we were at the dinner table. We had this uncle's dad who only spoke mainly in Mandarin. Um, so whenever he tried to interact, like talk to me, he would only speak in Mandarin. So the only thing I could ever say was hello, thank you, and goodbye. So that wasn't really a good way to communicate. But whenever he would try to talk to me, I wouldn't really understand what he was saying. So I would always have to look for my parents or look for my uncle just to translate for me to or see what he was trying to what my uncle's dad was trying to say. So it was like very a weird feeling that I couldn't talk to him. I mean, I think the only way we would communicate is just through nonverbal gestures. I mean, we would still have some of communication, but of course not in the extent with using Mandarin. So I think if he was still around, it would have been pretty impressive for me to really use the Canto Mando blueprint to even like engage in conversational Mandarin. So I think being able to do that is just a way to honor that part and being able to use it if I'm going out and even for ordering food. So at least it's more something that would benefit me if I'm traveling to Asia.
So now, what have your results with the Canto Mando Blueprint been like so far?
Hey Sheldon, so after taking a Canto Mando blueprint, I feel as though I've seen much more better progress than what I originally thought. In terms of text, of writing, reading, and listening and comprehension. So I did see some improvements. I think after when I kept continuing on learning Mandarin, I think just every progress is different, but for me, just being able to at least have some better conversational Mandarin is a big improvement.
Was there a particular learning, moment, or result that kind of stood out to you? And if so, what was it?
Hey Sheldon. So I think what I saw most with that was um, improved results would be just uh, being able to text in pinging as a CBC. So most CBCs would say that they wouldn't know how to. They would either know how to speak it but don't know how to read it, or they can say but they can't read it or write it. So it's just I can do probably all three of those components. So it's very fascinating for me to really use the tool that I use for Pleco. Pleco is pretty helpful for me when I want to type something in Chinese, especially when I use Mandarin for whenever he's pinging. Um, so I think that's pretty handy for me whenever I articulate with my folks. So it's very handy for me to use, even when, and sometimes if I'm out, I can actually read some signages in simplified Chinese, so that's a bonus for me. So sometimes I'm used to pretty calligraphy of, just traditional ways of writing Chinese, but I know because some people are used to simplified, I would have to kind of readjust and see what it looks, what they're trying to write. So I think having Canto Mando Blueprint helps a lot, and also being able to at least kind of hear sometimes when people speak in Mandarin. So I think that's the result that was very important to me, is just not feeling like an outsider. So I think that's why it was very helpful to use this tool. So thank you, Sheldon.
And last question, would you recommend the Canton Mando Blueprint to a friend?
Hey, Sheldon. So I would definitely would recommend this Cantamando blueprint for any CBC person who feels like they're not who for anyone who wants to learn Mandarin but have either no Chinese background or have very or know even just a little bit. So I think that's a bonus, and I feel it's very helpful for us CBCs to use. So CBC as in Chinese born Canadians. So I think that's something handy, or even ABCs, so American born Chinese. I think this tool would be very helpful. That would just break barriers, like language barriers, like in learning the language, and just instead of just learning like how a Guaylo would learn, it's like we just use what we already have in our how what we learned, and then just transfer it to that blueprint instead. So I think this is very helpful, and it just is a lot more interesting to learn compared to if I were to take a very traditional Mandarin course outside of Canto Mando blueprint. So I think I would definitely recommend this even to anyone who wants to learn Mandarin. So I think, yeah, this is just a very great experience.